All right. Well, let you go ahead and open it up and start with us.
I'm so excited. So, one of the things that I'm super passionate about is building in our mindset, is readjusting and continuing with that motivation, because without building in our mindset, it's like having motivation that just runs on a hamster wheel, where, oh, I'm tired, all right, I got to get motivated. I'm tired, I got to get motivated. But when we start building on that, then motivation just sticks around, because I know when I'm exhausted and I don't want to do something, it overflows into every part of my life. What works for this business works for every part of my life. So when I know that I don't want to get up and get the house clean, or I don't want to get up and wash dishes, how you do anything is how you do everything. And so it's probably overflowing into your everyday life if you're having a hard time getting up and getting going with this business. And so, but if I will just go start, and I'll tell myself I'm going to give it 15 minutes and then I'll sit down. And then by the time I've started cleaning, I don't even want to sit down because I want to finish. And so, if you'll just take that approach with everything in the business, oh, I'm just going to send out 5 messages. Once you get started, you aren't going to stop. Oh, I'm just going to talk to 5 people. Once you get started, you aren't going to stop. But I wanted to share tonight because I realized this week that when a bolt broke in my car and I had to get a new car, um, that one bolt in a car can wreck the entire thing. So the bolts in our life is our mindset issues. Okay. So if we have one bolt, it can tear the whole car apart, or the whole ship, or your whole life apart. And so as I go through a couple of these excuses that we make to ourselves, and I'm guilty of all of them, so please don't think that I'm talking to anybody about anything, I'm pointing anybody out, because I have done these things myself. But think about which one hits you, because I just got the top 10 reasons that I have seen in my life and that I've heard from many people in their life, the 10 excuses that we make. And so I want you to think about which one applies to you, because I'm also going to tell you some truths and how to overcome that, or some truth that will give you the freedom to overcome it. um so number one excuse that we make is, I don't have time. The truth is, time is not found, time is created. You have to make times for the things that are important. You don't find the time, you make the time. um, and I really love that we can put this in our lives, in everything. If I say I don't have time to make dinner, well, nobody has time to do anything. We make the time to make dinner, because if we don't make dinner, then our kids don't get to eat. We don't get to eat, our spouse doesn't get to eat. Whatever situation fits you, it's not, they're going to be the same for everyone. But anything in life, we can say, I don't have time. If that's something that you're constantly saying, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to do that, then you need to approach it with, I don't find time, I make time. And I'm going to bring all of these back into a biblical truth as well, because I think that's so important in this business and in everyday life. And Psalms 90, verse 12, tells us to steward the days that God gives us. And so it's our responsibility even to steward the time that we have, and to create the time that we want to make the things happen that we need to make happen. Excuse number two that I hear often is, I can't afford it. And it doesn't matter if it's afford the business, or afford the groceries, or afford the car, or for afford, you insert your own thing. whatever that is that it means to you, if you find yourself saying, I can't afford it, then you can address it with this truth in your life. This is about priorities, not resources. And I like to just tell myself every time I say something, I catch myself going, whoa, this is about priorities, not resources. So, where is my priority? And the biblical truth for that one is, you know, that we sow before a harvest. It doesn't matter if you're the harvester. If you didn't ever sow, then there's nothing to harvest. If you're the sower, uh, then you still don't eat because you never harvested. So um, that I can't afford to do it. It doesn't really apply. You have to get your priorities in line. Um, Hang on one second. I'm gonna. Okay, I think I've muted everybody. Um, I don't know how. The truth is that growth requires learning. It doesn't matter what you start or what you decide to do, you have to learn how to do it. In order for my son to have gone into fourth grade this year, he had to learn third grade. Like, that's just the truth of the matter. It doesn't matter what you start. If you start a new job, you have to learn how to do it. And so that needs to be part of our mindset with just, okay, this is hard, but it won't be hard forever. I just have to learn it. And when I take that back to um, a biblical truth, it reminds me that God qualifies the called. He didn't call you because you were qualified for the task. He qualified the people that he called. Um, and I'm not ready. Seems to be a really difficult one for me. Like, I don't think I'll do that just yet. I'm not quite there. But the truth is that ready is an illusion. You're never ready. One thing that my dad told me when I got married is he goes, "Do not think that you have to figure out how to pay for kids before you have them. You'll never do it. If you plan, oh, it's going to cost this much and insurance is going to cost this and I got to get a new vehicle." He goes, if you nickel and dime it and decide how it's going to work out, you're never going to do it. But once you decide you have kids, you're going to figure it out. And we can take that back to this business or any other area of our life. Being ready is an illusion, just like having kids and being prepared ahead of time. It doesn't happen. I'm too shy. That's another one that I hear quite often. It's not one that I deal with, but it's one that I hear quite often. um, and the truth is that success comes from connection, not from being charismatic or charisma. Success doesn't have anything to do with whether or not I can talk to people. It has to do with whether or not I make a connection with them. So it doesn't matter if other people are like, "Oh, I'm too shy." That's not even about the being the most outspoken or being able to have things all together. It has to do with making a connection with people. And I love that these things affect everything in life. I don't know if you are like me, but my dad always said that I was a lazy person. Okay. And he didn't say that in a hateful way. He said, dude, you always find the easiest way to get something done. And I couldn't figure out why that was bad. You know what? I got it done. Who cares if I got it done the quick way or not? Um, but with that being said, it doesn't matter if you do it the quick way or you do it the hard way. You have to do it. If you don't do something, you never get anywhere. And this is true in sweeping your house. This is true in getting up in the morning. This is true in having a job. This is true in anything, because I love that how you do anything is how you do everything. And I love being able to find little things that I can tweak that change my life. And it looks like I put this great deal of effort into it. Really, all I did was I tweaked the few things that I needed to tweak, and it affected every area of my life. And then another one that I hear is, I don't want to bother people. And this can apply to, you know, getting people on your team, or getting people the product in their hand, or um, talking to a boss. Like, you don't want to bother people. But the truth is that helping isn't bothering. Yeah, people may say, "Oh, I don't want to deal with that right now." But really, what they're saying is, "I've got too much going on. I can't even think in that direction." That's it. How many times has somebody called you and you said, "Oh, I don't want to deal with that right now?" Whether it was good, whether it was bad, but depending on what was going on, you may have snapped a little bit when you answered the phone. Like, what? If somebody, like, think about your kids, like, going, "Mom, mom, 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 mom," and you're like, "What?" It's not that they're a bother, especially if what they say helps you in any way, but that's an automatic response when you feel like you're dealing with too much. And so when people say, "You're bothering me," or you think, you're already thinking that that's what they're thinking, that you're thinking. It's crazy how difficult we make it, because it's just an excuse. But we need to change our mindset from "I'm bothering people" to "I'm helping people," because we know that all of the diseases that are family diseases, right? They're hereditary, they're in your bloodline. It's not so much the bloodline as it's the diet that we're eating. And when we get the products in their hands, whether they know it's for their longevity, whether they know it's for their health long term, they may think that it's only about the 20 pounds that they need to lose, or the 50 pounds that they need to lose. But it's really about them not going into diabetes, not going into, um, PCOS, not going into all of the things that they're going into that they don't even know, because we're just not talking to them, because we're afraid we're going to bother them. I heard somebody say one time, if you had the cure to cancer, is it your responsibility to tell everybody about it? Like, this really changed your life. This really helped you. Or you might be bothering them, right? No, you would feel like it was more of your responsibility to tell them. And so when people say, "I don't want to bother others," it's just an excuse, because helping isn't bothering. And if we take that back to a biblical principle, um, it's that we don't hide our light. Like, that's our responsibility to tell others about Jesus. That's our responsibility to be caring and loving, and just let people know that we're there for them, that there's hope. And so I love that we can bring those back to biblical principles. But I love that it's so easy when we just stop the excuses, because it really frees up so much time and so much brain space and so much energy. And then it looks like you have it all together. And I don't know about you, but I like the easy way out sometimes. If I just clean up my act a little bit, then it all starts working and it affects every area of my life. Um, Next one that I hear all the time is, I've tried before and I failed. And I think we use this more often than um, we think about it, as when people say, "Oh, I've tried that before and I failed." But we use this in our own life. What have we tried that we have failed, right? But the problem with the word failure is that we're not looking at it as it truly is. Failure is just feedback. Failure is not fatal, and success is not final. And when we start looking at failure as feedback, then we can go and do it again. Just because I failed at something doesn't mean that I didn't learn at all. I learned something, so it was feedback, and so I can move forward to the next step. And I just have two more, Rusty. But um, number 9, what will people think? The truth is, opinions don't determine destiny. So it doesn't matter what people might think. It doesn't matter what people will think. Okay. We don't know what they're going to think, nor should that affect you in any way. If they're not paying your bills, if they're not getting you off the couch, if they're not moving you forward in any way, then their opinion just doesn't matter that much. And if they are helping you in some way, like my kids, I think their opinion matters. My husband, I think his opinion matters. But it doesn't matter to the point that if something is important, I want to explain my position. Okay. Nobody that is trying to work with you is going to stop you from what you need to do. And their opinions just shouldn't matter that much. And if they do, then that's your problem, and that's just an excuse. It's funny how our brain works. We think of all these things, and we think that's the reason that we can't move. And really, all it is an excuse keeping us from moving. And we're buying into that lie. When we take that one back to a biblical principle, it's our responsibility to please God, not man. And then the reason 10 that I hear quite often is I'm too overwhelmed already. The truth is that overwhelm means you're trying to climb the whole staircase at once. See, if this business overwhelms you, if having children overwhelms you, if going to work overwhelms you, if doing whatever overwhelms you, then you're trying to take too much at one time. You just need to break that down into step by step, and stop having such a big goal if you haven't accomplished the goal right in front of you. You don't have to learn everything at one time. You can learn a little piece at a time and move forward. And the biblical principle for that is that we're called to be still and know that He is God while we're still moving forward. But the easiest way for us to move forward in our Christian life is to be still and know that He's God and let Him do the work. Right? That doesn't mean that we don't do anything. That means that we don't take the whole staircase at one time. We take one step at a time. We take one principle at a time. We take one goal at a time. And I absolutely love how easy some of these things are. And like I said, it overflows into every area of your life. And yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't have a closing for that. I simply want you to know that motivation isn't the only thing you need. It's taking some of these excuses that we're making and realizing that the truth behind it is that it's just an excuse, and you can push past that. And that's all I had, Rusty.
Well, that's pretty amazing, Rachel. Good gracious, that gets it right down to where it gets into quick. And so excuses is nothing more than I've heard people say, I tried and I failed. No, you got in, you didn't try. You failed because you didn't try. But I tried it again. No, you wanted to get rich, but you wanted to pay for the work you didn't do. And therefore, you'll always have an excuse as to why you can't get it done. There's nothing more profitable or investing your time and picking up the phone, letting somebody hear your voice is the word they know that you actually care. I told a person today, the only reason I'm calling you, I care about you. And I know you'd be great at this, but I do care. If I didn't care about you, you wouldn't be in my phone to start with. And so that means a lot. And I love laws. Laws are refutable, and I love the laws and I love to talk about the laws. And there's several laws that, like the law of teamwork, the law of leadership, the law of growth. And I get that from John Maxwell, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Success. Now, he didn't write that book to make you feel good or for you to like it. He wrote that book for you to wake up. And some people say, well, I don't know about all the laws is what governs us. Laws hold true every time. Laws is not your opinion. That's how you live your life. And I had a person to tell me today, said, "Oh, I don't that's so silly." I see it is. I see you believe in the law of gravity. If you don't crawl up on that 4-story building, jump off, you'll believe in it real quick because you're going to hit the ground real fast. So the laws are put here to govern us by, to help you to stay in line to create success. And the laws of procrastination, they will go ahead and it's proven fact that will dig you a big hole. You'll never get nothing done. You'll always have the blame game. You'll always be pointing at one finger like a pistol, but them other 3 fingers, they pointing back at you. That means you're 75% of your problem. When I woke up and found out 75% of my problem, I started trying to go straight and going after these laws. And in life, laws of leadership and growth, it's about building a team and you showing up and making a contribution to your team. If you just have one customer, find out how they're doing every week. How's it going? And as you build the integrity through different laws that make everything work, like the law of gravity, well, they're going to start to talk about how you actually care and how you're there for them. One call away, one text away, and I'm on it. And that's how I operate. And that's how we've been in business for 24 years. And you got to be real clear about what you want. And you got to be real clear about your plan of action. And the plan of action, Rob and I do not go to bed without a priority plan of action. We write everything that is important to us and a priority to us to get it done. We write it down on paper. Well, I just don't write it down on paper. Well, then you know what the hell you're doing tomorrow. You're going to do whatever comes your way, whichever you're like a tumbleweed, whichever way the wind's blowing, that's the way you're going. And you'll always have an excuse that I need help for this. I need help. No, you don't. You just need to get into action. Because if you're not in action, you're out of action. And then all of a sudden you're missing an action and it's everybody else's fault. But the worst enemy we all have, that one person that really just treats us like we're nothing. Everybody's got it. Is go in the bathroom, shut the door, turn the lights on, and find out exactly your biggest enemy. It's you. How you talk to yourself, the way you think, the things you listen to, the things you put in your mouth. You're the only one that can set the tone for the life that you want. You say you want it, but do you really want it? How do I know? Hell, I was my own worst enemy. And thank God that he woke me up one day and said, no, this is not the way it is. If you're going to lead your wife and your children, you're going to have to be accountable to yourself. So make sure nobody can hold you more accountable than you can, and nobody can expect more of you than you do. And in my mid 60s, I'm in as good a shape I was as I was in as 18. That's on my blood work and my activity levels and things I do. And I'm not saying that to brag at all. I'm just saying that I love to feel good. I like to get high, folks. Y'all like to get high? My high is life, not drugs nor alcohol, nor sugar or bad foods. I like to get high on activity and seeing other people start to achieve it, start to believe in themselves. And when you show up, it's just that support system, just to support somebody else. And you want to know how they're doing. See, Lionel Richie wrote a song, you got to have a heart and you love to have love in your heart. And so when you got it, when you say something and you meet that person and you smile or you pick up the phone, you call that person to let them know you're there. And you know what? That means so much to other people because everybody's such in a rat race now. They're listening to everything social media says, and we're on it a little bit. But you know what? That's going to fade. Mark my words. People are looking for integrity. They're looking for real, not somebody using AI to try to get ahead of the crowd that they're trying to sell that stuff to you. And I'm going to be real right now. That's all horseshit. It really is. People want the authentic people that they can trust and they can believe in you because what? They can see it in your actions. You're getting up and you're making it happen. You become a product of the product. You're becoming a product of the business. You become the CEO of your own life, and you're showing up every day for yourself. That creates what? Integrity, but people will trust you. And people like to do business with people that they know, love, and trust. And you can't get neither the three of those unless you're in action. You're taking the products every day. You never miss the auto ship. I don't miss mine, and mine is not a small one. I take everything because I don't want to be sick anymore. I don't want to be on a doctor or medical auto ship every month like I was 20 some years ago. I don't want to be on that. So I decided to take care of me and get rid of them. And you know what? That worked out just fine. And for everything they told me not to do, I started doing it. And you know what? My health is like, I don't know if I'll make it tomorrow. It's up to God. But my health is really in line now. And you know what? At my age, it ain't supposed to be like this, so they say. Well, if you want to be average and run with the average people, you'll do what they say. If you want to be above average and be that beacon of hope, you'll do what's right for you. And you will not make any excuses as to why you can't get it done. You're going to come after it. And you know what? Here's how you know if you're making it happen. The team you lead, the numbers will always reflect your leadership. And in 90 days, your numbers will continue to reflect the leadership because it starts to compound. The law of compound is crazy. Once you fully understand it, you will not waste any more time. That law of compound applies in not only your thinking, but in your health, in your finances, your relationships. It's in everything. Because when you start to execute the law of compound, when you're just somewhere and you speak to somebody and you mean it, you have the love in your heart, what do you get back in reciprocation? You get the smile back. They know you really meant it. Every time I see somebody with little kids, I say, you better cherish it. What do you mean? Because they grow up real quick and get your grandkids. That's what I'm loving on now, my little granddaughter. And they start to laugh, the reciprocation of engaging in a conversation. And you never know where that leads you. And you're the beacon of hope. Why don't they put lighthouses in big cities? They put them at the edge of the bay where if you get too close or you lose your way, here's the big light. It's guiding you in. You're lending people your hope. You're lending them everything they need to get them on the right track so they don't crash in the rocks, so they don't have any procrastination. And when you show up like that and you're going to be there, I don't care if you tell me no 48 times, I'm still going to follow up and find out how you doing. I ain't trying to sell you nothing. You know what you need. You see how I live my life. And once you make up your mind that you're worth it, that small investment will make you a big asset. If you're not a physical asset, you don't have any assets. I already know. I've been through all that stuff. Mm-hmm. When I made up my mind, this ain't going to happen no more. Here we go. Has it been easy? No. It's been a fight every step of the way. Has it been worth it? Yep, because I like to win. And you know what? I'm going to do a little bit more tomorrow than I did today, because that makes me a little bit better so I can give more of me to y'all or to my team and to my family. I want to give you the best of me, not what's left of me. And when you take on that mindset, I'm going to give you the best of me every day, not what's left of me. You never know when that one person needs you to give them a call just to put that pick me up, and they know you care. And once they know that, that's a team that you cannot beat. And when you make up your mind, I'm going to win every day and I'm going to be consistent with what I'm doing. I'm not going to do it on just when I feel like it. If you did that, none of us would ever feel like it. But you have the discipline, and the more you go out and you become that conqueror and you become that winner, the more you expect to win. You change your expectations. And then, I'm going to say this in closing, nobody will ever expect more out of me than I expect out of me every single day on every front that's important to me. And that's the way we should all be. And you do that by creating a priority plan of action before you go to bed. This is what I'm going to get done tomorrow. And if don't nothing else get done, this is going to get done. And therefore, you know what that does? Your priority plan of action. Does anybody really know what that does? If you write it down before you get to bed, it takes all your excuses and procrastination away. You know what you got to do and when you got to get it done. It's kind of like having a job. They tell you when to be there. If you're late too many times, they're going to fire you. They tell you when you go to the bathroom, when you go to lunch, when you have a little break after a while, and when you can go home. Kick your feet up, grill the steak out back, watch a little TV, and do it all again tomorrow. That ain't no life. That's a plantation. That's how I viewed the bank. And when I left, I said, you ain't never going back, boy. You're going to go out there and you're going to work hard. You out working everybody. And you're going to get up every day and you're going to show up. And then you have to have a really strong why. And here's my why. That girl I've been with for 47 years, she's number one. Number two and three is my two daughters, but the most important one right now for me is number four. That my grandbaby, little Hadley, Papa's baby girl. I'll get up and fight like hell all day, and I don't need no sleep when it comes to making it happen on that particular level to secure her future. If you don't come from a rich family, one should come from you. If you want to build generational legacy, you got to stop wasting your time. You got to stop making excuses and lying to yourself. If you lie to you, you have no problem to lying to everybody else. You'll have every excuse in the book. In fact, you'll create some new excuses if you keep lying to yourself. When I woke up and started coming after everything, is when I got brutally honest with me. And I said, big dog, you ain't gonna never make no more excuses. Your ass is gonna always be in gear. You're gonna always be in motion trying to make it happen. And you know what? Worked real well for 24 years now. Don't wake up by alarm clocks. I ain't saying it to brag. We've earned our right to be here, but I ain't the only one. I got a hell of a big team over here living the same way we live. And you know what my goal is? To help every one of you get to where we are. And when you start playing on this level, your actions will drastically change. You'll stop looking at 9 to 5. You'll start looking at I'm going to be free and I'm going to create generational wealth for my family. That means after we're gone, they can't even spend the interest that you're going to be making for what you left in the trust funds. And you're going to teach them right now how to respect that and take care of it and what it takes to keep it going forward. And when you start doing things on that particular level, you begin to change. You become the new you, the new version of you, the one that God intended for you to be. He didn't put you here to be sick, poor, broke, or make a bunch of flippant excuses. He put you to be here to go out and put yourself in the service of other people because you'll always be blessed in direct proportion for the quality of efforts expended. And the law of reciprocity is my favorite saying. If I come into your life and help make something of consequence happen, consequential happenings, it just reciprocates right back to us and
Such
continually
itchies.
flows through us. And once that begins to happen, you know what begins to happen? Everything about
Right.
your life
I'm
begins
ready to
to change.
jump, literally.
And when your life begins to change at that level, you know what happens? The life of your family begins to change. The life of everybody begins to change. And it's all because you, the leader, you stood up, you stood out, and you started to execute your plan of action, and people knew that you cared. If you don't care, you won't do it anyway. But if you do care, you'll be the first one to let people know what you got, where you're going, and how this could possibly help them, and who do you know could help them as well. And when that begins to happen, you become a world changer. And it all starts with us because we changed, the world around you begins to change because you created what? The different environment that people they're just hungry for nowadays. They're looking for people to show up and be authentic, not some AI. I ain't saying it ain't gonna make some people rich, but that's gonna run old real quick. It's already run real old with me. I don't want to hear it, see it. I want to talk to you. Does that make any sense? Well, Rachel, that's all I got. And if you got anything before we close, all right. Well, guys, I
Hey,
love
Rusty.
you. You matter to me. And until tomorrow, make this the best evening. What, Kevin?
I said, hey, brother, I just want to share with the group. If you haven't seen Rusty's Facebook post, it was probably about a week ago, but it was about if you think being healthy is expensive, try being sick. And that just really resonated because, so many people are looking for what we have to offer. And, if they can afford a box of Little Debbie's or a stop at Starbucks, then they can afford our products because it's just that simple. And not to be mean or direct sometimes, but sometimes people just need to hey, I never thought of it that way. Do something good for yourself. Drive right past Starbucks and take a burn instead.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Do you have some joy?
Yeah, I just want to say that I've been super lazy since COVID and like I've been really struggling and today I just decided that I'm going to just go and do my yard work cuz it needs to get done and like I feel so good and I feel like that curse was broken off of me and I'm like ready to run and like do the things and be the person God wants me to be because I have a story and I have amazing results and I just need to stop being lazy and stop playing so small. So I don't know who needs to hear that, but break that curse off of you. God has more for you, and we got this, and we have the best leader out there.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for that, Joy. Well, guys, I got one more Zoom to get done here in about 13 minutes. I love you. You matter to me. And until tomorrow, y'all make this the best night you've ever had. And let's go tomorrow. Let's crush this like you own it, because you do. Good night, everyone.